This is a keepable hand. I think we'll go with this. Cherryman is another streamer. Check out their content on Twitch. Okay, so we know what we're playing against. We're going to want to have Spell Queller available for their Lotus or something similar. We'll go fetch a shock land here. We don't need to worry much about our life total. The Spell Queller is going to be very important. Yeah, Pentad Prism. So they're going to have a ton of mana on this turn coming up. So we got both of our basics. I think we play the Selfless Spirit just to get a clock going. I don't really want to bother with the other Aether Vial. I don't think it's going to be necessary. Now I'm wondering, I probably should be countering the Lotus, but they already have 5 mana. Okay, so that's a problem. And Spell Queller does not counter Ad Nauseam. So they might already have the match here. Another land. We're not going to bother countering the Lotus Bloom. They already have so many manas with the Pentad Prism. There's a Thassa's Oracle. So they could cast Ad Nauseam with the trigger on the stack. So we're going to go ahead and counter the Oracle. Okay, looks like that worked. Very nice. Mausoleum Wanderer, okay. So we can put that into play to counter another spell. Make them pay extra mana for it. And we're going to put the Drogskol Captain into play as well. Okay, so they have to win this turn. We have a clock that finishes the game. They have 3 cards in hand. Well, they still have Phyrexian on life, so they're not dead yet. Here's Spoils, so this is basically GG. Unless they're looking for something. They should be able to win from here, I'm sure. We can only tax their mana for 2. So it looks like, yeah, they went to search for Ad Nauseam. I think that we still tax them here. This is 6, 7, 8. So we don't have lethal if we tax them, but if Ad Nauseam resolves, we're just dead anyway. We're going to tax them for no reason other than it's an option that we have. But I don't expect this to be able to win the game. I'm sure that the Ad Nauseam will finish us off here. Now we get to see everything that's in the opponent's deck. Yeah, so they have the Lightning Storm and Simian Spirit Guides. So we'll just let them show us the entire deck and then we'll concede. Looks quite standard. Okay. So we're playing against Adnaz. I think Dampening Sphere might be okay. A lot of the time, Damping Sphere. A lot of the time, Ad Nauseam is going to be looking to combo with exactly enough mana. So the Damping Sphere could slow that down quite a bit. Otherwise, we have our counter magic, which we'll be bringing in. Okay, we'll take out the Collected Companies because we're bringing in spells in the Damping Sphere and the counter magic. We have to take out 3 more cards. I would like to leave some number of Selfless Spirit in the deck. It's very conceivable that they could have sweepers in the board. Take out one of the mimics. And all right. The Ad Nauseam deck has gotten quite a bit better since they got access to Thassa's Oracle. Okay, this hand is quite a pain. We only have 1 land. It doesn't cast the Hierarch. We could put the Aether Vial into play and then put the Hierarch into play, but if we don't get land off the top, we're doing pretty bad. The Plains here doesn't cast our blue spells, so we're going to mulligan. This is quite a bit better. Looks like Cherry is also mulligan to 6. We're going to keep this. We do have to put a card back. I'm thinking probably the Mausoleum Wanderer. I definitely like Skyclave Apparition in this matchup. Spell Queller is also quite nice. Mausoleum Wanderer would be a nice clock, though. But we're going to have a hard time finding an opportunity to cast it, since we're going to be holding up Spell Queller on our turn 2. It would have also been a nice thing to discard to the Force of Negation, but again, I want to keep all these cards. So Cavern of Souls is going to name Spirit, so we're going to want to go get a Temple Garden with the Windswept Heath, which will help us cast the Apparition. Would also be nice to get a Breeding Pool, which would help with the Force of Negation if we wanted to hard cast it. And then Skyclave can be cast off Hierarch and Cavern. So we'll get Breeding Pool instead. So Spell Queller can hit a Pentad Prism if they have that. Could also put Drogskol Captain out, and then Skyclave, whatever they put out. I'm going to hold up the Spell Queller here. It seems a little bit obvious, though. Yeah, they're just going to pass. So now we're just stuck here holding up Spell Queller. Haven't done anything for our board here. And the opponent doesn't need to play into it. They can just keep playing lands and eventually win that way. Okay, so they are throwing something out here. We can Spell Quell the Thoughtseize and then Force of Negation something. Oh, really? Okay. Supreme Phantom's nice. Could increase the clock on the Spell Queller, but Drogskol Captain is better. Gives our dude hexproof, and then we can hold up Force of Negation as a counterspell, and then put Glasspool Mimic down as a second captain. So we'll swing for 4 here. And we'll hold the Mimic in hand. Okay, there's Unlife. We can get rid of that with the Apparition. So we'll let that resolve. Rattlechains, very nice. It might have actually been better to copy the Drogskol Captain this turn, and then we would have done more damage, and we could have Skyclaved the Phyrexian Unlife at a later turn. So that's suboptimal. Okay, here's another Unlife. We have another Mimic to be able to take care of that. So we can let this resolve. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the Supreme Phantom. So I think we still just Mimic, kill the Phyrexian Unlife so that they don't have access to both of their City of Brass. Having Unlife on the board is part of their combo, so we're just going to take it off the board. Okay, so opponent has 3 cards left in hand, and they have 4 mana. The second City of Brass would be unavailable to them, and we managed to get there. Cool. Not sure about the Damping Sphere. Might be a case of overboarding, and it might be better for me just to have the Mimic and Selfless Spirit back in the deck. I don't know, I just keep on coming back to the fact that generally the spell will be casting 2, 3, even 4 spells in the turn they go off, so I think the Damping Sphere is fine. We'll submit like this. Being on the draw is going to be difficult. So we'll need to get a little bit lucky here. Okay, this is a fine hand. Not great, but fine. The Mausoleum Wanderers and Rattlechains might be able to do some damage. Okay, they got the Lotus Bloom. They have 2 Lotus Blooms. That's so many blooms. Okay, another Aether Vial. Not really what we want to be seeing off the top. Let's play one. Okay, Force of Negation off the top is very nice. Definitely appreciate that. Let's play the Snow-Covered Plains and pass. We're going to want to hold up the Force of Negation for, not for their mana spells, but for the spells themselves. For Ad Nauseam in particular. Or, what's the one that combos with Thassa's Oracle? In any event, that's what we're going to be looking to counter, are the actual combo spells. Oops. Wrong color of mana. There we go. Let's tick this up to 2. And we find a Noble Hierarch. Okay, that's not going to help us out. So it's a little bit awkward here. If we want to cast Force of Negation for free, we have to hold the Mausoleum Wanderer in hand. And if we want to cast it for mana, then we can't cast any of our spells. So we're stuck here with just attacking for 3 damage. I was hoping to at least put the Mausoleum Wanderer into play, so we could hit for 4, but it is what it is. We'll hold up Force of Negation, that's more important. Okay, this is the turn the Lotus Blooms come into play, so they're going to have a ludicrous amount of mana available. I don't believe that countering one of these would be a winning play. Okay, here's Phyrexian on life. Now that is an option to counter this. It is one of their combo pieces. It might be better to try and target one of the other ones. But this also really slows down the game, where it's going to take me so much more damage, 10 more damage or more, in order to end them. So we're going to try and counter the Phyrexian on life here. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm going to try and do. We still have the Mausoleum Wanderer, which can Force Spike, a spell. An instant or sorcery, I believe. Yeah. It would be nice if we could get it up to Spell Pierce, but we don't have another spirit that we can put in with the Aether Vial. Cherry doesn't know that, though. Alright, we had a good think on whether or not we should counter the Phyrexian Unlife, and now our opponent is having a good think about how they're going to respond to our counterspell. Wonder if Cherry is streaming right now. I might have to go back and look at his VOD, see what's going through his mind at this moment. Okay, Phyrexian Unlife has been countered, and opponent is passing the turn. Excellent. We'll pump this up to 3. Probably draw 2 drop. Ha. Okay, we just get a land off the top. Come on, deck. Just wondering what else I should be playing here. I think I'll just play the Botanical Sanctum and keep the other 2 cards in my hand. They're not going to get too much value. We're attacking with multiple creatures in a turn. We don't want the Exalted. We have quite a bit of mana and the Aether Vial. We're going to pause for a minute here, so that they might think that we have a Spell Queller or some other counterspell. And we'll let that resolve. Okay, this is at 3, so we don't want this to activate anymore. We'll say always no and always yield. Come on, Drogskol Captain. Rattlechains instead. So we are going to want to play that to get an extra 2 damage in. But it has flash, double flash, so we'll attack first. And then we'll flash it in. Okay, so this is do or die time for the opponent. We don't have lethal on board here, but it's very, very close. Okay, they're using spoils. We have no response except for Mausoleum Wanderers. I think we let the spoils resolve, and then we try and counter something else. Spoils might even kill the opponent here. Let's let it happen. We wouldn't be able to stop it. They would still have 5 mana available if we tried to counter this. Okay, lucky us. Angel's Grace is what they named, I think. Yeah, they named Angel's Grace, and they weren't able to hit it in the top few cards. So we managed to steal the game. Okay, so this hand seems fine. It's a little bit on the slow side, but the Collected Company could catch us up. We're going to keep. We have turn 1 Aether Vial, so we can't complain about that. Oh, geez. Well, this is definitely the deck that can punish us for a slow start. We get another land off the top, not what we wanted to see. Let's cast the Aether Vial and pass. We'll have a Rattlechains to put down next turn, but having 1 toughness against a Soulscar Mage deck is a bit of a pain. Okay, so this is the Izzet Blitz list. Manamorphose, and they could be putting down a Stormwing Entity. I think this is a deck we're going to want Damping Sphere against. Path to Exile for sure. I don't think that Rest in Peace is going to be good enough. Wow, look at all that damage we're going to be taking from that Soulscar Mage. Taking, what, 5 damage from it this turn. And they still have a bunch of cards in hand because of the... they were playing Manamorphose and Opt. So they're still gassed up with 5 cards in hand. Good turn. Good turn from the opponent. Okay, we're going to need to survive until Collected Company. That's our goal. No land, deck. No land. Okay, opponent is holding on our upkeep here. And we draw a land off the top. Come on, deck. I think I'm going to put one of my fetch lands down, and I'll go fetch a basic. So we're going to want to get probably basic plains. So we'll use the Windswept Heath here, and we'll just pass the turn back. I'm going to want to hold the Glasspool Mimic. Once we cast Collected Company, Aether Vial will be at 3, so we can put the Mimic into play as well. Honestly, I'm kind of just hoping the Soulscar Mage just attacks here. But if they just attack, they could Lava Dart when the Rattlechains trigger is on the stack. So even just like Rattlechains blocking would be nice, but totally not guaranteed. 3rd Manamorphose of the game. Opponent digging for that Stormwing Entity. I think that having the untapped Steam Vents here, I probably would have went red-red instead of red-blue. Oh geez, with a Soulscar Mage just attacking for 2 here, I really kind of want to just let it through instead of chumping with the Rattlechains. Although it might have been nice to chump there and then put the Moorland Haunt in play. Could have activated it then. So that would have also been fine. Okay, we get to start our turn. This is turn 3. We've lost almost half our life so far. Opponent still has 5 cards in hand. Okay, here's that Lava Dart, getting rid of our Rattlechains. We have nothing to do, so we have to let that resolve. Bye-bye, Rattlechains. Another Aether Vial off the top, bogus. So we can put the Moorland Haunt into play. And we can make a spirit out of the Rattlechains to block the Soulscar Mage. It could just be Lava Darted. That would get rid of one of their lands. Okay, tapped land. They still have 4 cards in hand. Here comes Soulscar Mage. We're just going to go ahead and chump it, save the 1 damage, and keep them from casting a light up the stage. Okay, we'll take this up to 3 and leave it there. Find Supreme Phantom. Okay. Misty Rainforest can go get us Island. And then we have Collected Company and Glasspool Mimic ready to go. We can Collected Company if they put a spell on the stack. Try and find Spell Queller. Otherwise, we'll do it in combat. Okay, we'll do it now. Okay, we get Spell Queller, Rattlechains, and Selfless Spirit. So Selfless Spirit and Rattlechains both die to Lava Dart. Spell Queller does not. We'll put the Spell Queller into play for sure. And I think probably the Selfless Spirit as well. The Rattlechains would have been quite nice though. But all in all, disappointing on the what I get from this. The Glasspool Mimic won't be too bad though. Copy a Spell Queller. Find these matchups quite difficult to navigate. Opponent puts up quite a bit of pressure. And then even if we stabilize, they only need a couple spells to finish. Spell Queller could be quite good. Okay, here's a gut shot aiming at Selfless Spirit. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice it. Now these will just bump off each other. And we also have another spirit in the bin for the Moorland Haunt. Moorland Haunt will be quite good at blocking their creatures. I mean, they'll just be chumps, but it's still something. Being able to block a Stormwing entity is quite important. Okay, opponent still has 5 mana available, and they're doing nothing with it. Okay. Let's see here. Always no, and always yield. Okay, we get another land, Bogus. We've already got our basics, so I'm thinking we probably put down Temple Garden tapped. If we put it in untapped, we go to 9, which is somewhere we really don't want to be, even though we would like the Moorland Haunt to be active. Okay, we'll attack for 3 in the air. Get our clock going. Put another Aether Vial into play. And we'll hold up the Mimic, probably as a Spell Queller. Although we could make another Supreme Phantom, and that would be fine too. Second Supreme Phantom would make the Moorland Haunt quite effective. Okay, they have 3 cards in hand. 6 mana. They have Lava Dart in the bin. We could block with Supreme Phantom and risk losing it. But if we don't block, we could take a ludicrous amount of damage. I think we have to block. And we'll consider what the Glasspool Mimic will come into once they start casting spells. Even just the Lava Dart here is enough to kill the Supreme Phantom. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, so this Aether Vial we want to say yes to. And we get Skyclave Apparition. Fantastic draw. Fantastic draw. Okay, we're just going to play the Flooded Strand in case we ever need access to that mana. And we're going to keep the Aether Vial up on 3 so we can throw the Glasspool Mimic into play. Let's get that Soulscar Mage off the board. Okay, I really do not want to use the Flooded Strand here to get an untapped land. Very risky to go down to 9. 10 would be okay, so we could fetch a tap land. That would mean we would not be able to use the Moorland Haunt this turn, but I'm okay with that if it means we survive. And having lost the Supreme Phantom, the Moorland Haunt isn't all that great anyways. Okay, here's a Burst Lightning, which is going to destroy the Apparition. So I think we go ahead and counter this. That could be Folly. If they have a Lightning Bolt or something for the Spell Queller, then they get to just kill everything. Ah, yeah. So that was a mistake. Opponent gets a 1/1 token. And we're going to probably just leave the Flooded Strand where it is, keep our 1 life. We can start using the Moorland Haunt next turn. Oh, Stormwing Entity. That's a problem. So we can no longer attack into that. But they only have 1 card left in hand. 2 cards to the bottom. Okay. Alright, we're going to go to 10 here, get a tap land, just in case we get something like another Collected Company off the top. Okay, yes to that one, get it to 2, and then they'll both stay there. Selfless Spirit off the top, very nice. We just have to pass here. No attacks. That's good news. Let's go ahead and make a spirit. Another land is unfortunate. We're going to hold that in hand, sort of like a bluff. I don't think I really want to attack into this. I would be losing my basically my Selfless Spirit to their Stormwing entity. So we're just going to have to pass and hold up Moorland Haunt again. We have 3 more creatures in the graveyard, so we can do that 3 more times. Build up a army in the air, and then start swinging. Okay, opponent is passing back to us again. Every turn the opponent doesn't attack is a good thing for us. Means we get another spirit on the board. We don't have to chump. We don't have to lose a Selfless Spirit. These are all good things. Okay, we get Mausoleum Wanderer off the top. We're going to go ahead and cast that. Get another flyer going. And that grows whenever we use the Moorland Haunt as well. So I think we can start attacking next turn. If they block a 2, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't quite have lethal yet. Oh, Petty Theft is going after one of our tokens. That works. Big fan of Brazen Borrower in this deck. I think it's very strong. However, because we're playing spirits, we can easily block that and trade with one of our 1/1 spirit tokens. It looks like we can make 2 more currently. 3 if you include the Selfless Spirit here. Okay, they're going for it. Here's the opt. No attacks. Wonderful. Another land off the top. Come on, deck. I got enough lands, thank you. We're just going to pass. I think we might play one of these lands here. Honestly, I don't really see much of a point in playing a land. Opponent has too many flyers here. They could block. They would only take 4, go to 3, and then would have probably lethal on the crackback. It's too risky to attack right now. And opponent agrees that it's too risky for them as well. Okay, this is our last spirit token. Until we sacrifice the Selfless Spirit. Come on, deck. Okay, that's better than nothing. Okay, so if we attack here, they block Spell Queller with the Brazen Borrower and maybe Selfless Spirit or Mausoleum Wanderer more likely with a Stormwing entity, and then they take 3, 4, 5. So Yeah, attack still seems bad here. Let's play the Wanderer and see what we draw next turn. Something we do have access to is sacrifice Selfless Spirit. All of our creatures gain indestructible, and then we attack. So we don't lose any creatures. Opponent would probably lose Brazen Borrower at that point, and they would only be able to attack in with Stormwing Entity and Illusion. I don't think that's worth it, especially not this turn. It might be different next turn when we have the second Mausoleum Wanderer ready to go. And I think for that purpose, I'm going to play Seachrome Coast just in case I need extra mana. Okay, opponent is flooded as well. We are both flooding, and they're passing back to us. We have no creatures in the graveyard, so Moorland Haunt does nothing. Hey, there's a good card. That's a great card. Okay. I think we're ready to attack. This can be flashed in with the Aether Vial. So let's go. Now, they do have a ton of mana here, so they're going to be able to do whatever they have. But I guess they have nothing. So we managed to steal that game. Very, very lucky. We're going to bring in the Kor Firewalker. And I think probably Path to Exile as well. Not a huge fan of Spell Queller in this matchup. It's too easy for the opponent to kill the Queller. I wouldn't mind cutting that number down a little bit. Kor Firewalker is really where it's at. So we're going to try this. There is some merit to Damping Sphere as well. Would not be a fan of Unified Will in this matchup. Force of Negation is so-so. Force of Negation might actually be very strong, being able to counter Manamorphose on turn 2, so they can't put Stormwing Entity into play. But I'm more interested in the Path to Exiles. Specifically, removing their creatures from the board is one of our most powerful options. All right, what do we get for our opening 7? Okay, we have a 1-land hand with Aether Vial and Hierarch. Cancel that. We have extra lands in Glasspool Mimic. We're going to keep this. It's not great, but I think it's good enough. Okay, of course, they have turn 1 creature. Play Hallowed Fountain, pay the life, play Aether Vial, pass. We'll have access to 3 mana next turn, so we can... Not next turn, sorry, on turn 3. So we can Skyclave Apparition. But if they get a... this might be a... Yeah, turn 2 entity is a pretty big problem. They're going to be able to do a huge amount of damage next turn, and Skyclave Apparition does not hit entity. So we're going to need to draw Path to Exile here. Path to Exile would be a perfect draw. We don't have anything else to do with our Hallowed Fountain. Okay, so scry both cards to the bottom, and we'll take 2. What do we get off the top? We get another land. So if we're going to play a tap land anyway, I would rather play the Breeding Pool and keep the Mimics so that we can be copying our cards. Though it might have been a better idea to put the Supreme Phantom into play, it would have also been a target for their removal. So it's pretty close, I think. Either way, we're in a ton of trouble here. That Storming Entity is going to come across for a ton of damage this turn. They have 5 cards in hand. If they aren't flooded like last time, then we're just going to take it all to the face. Could be like Bolt, Lava Dart, dead. Oh, it's a Sprite Dragon instead. That's something we can get with the Apparition. And they're tapped out, it looks like. So I don't think we can expect some damage to be coming after our Hierarch. They could have Gut Shot, though. Okay, they let us get to the main. Okay, so we have access to 3 mana here, and a 2, well, actually 4 with a Hierarch. So we don't need to play the Flooded Strand, get a basic. We could get a fetch land with it later because of the Hierarch. I'm thinking probably play the Skyclave Apparition and take the Sprite Dragon off the board. Alternatively, we could play Drogskol Captain and Supreme Phantom, but I'd rather have the Captain out when we can put a Mimic out at the same turn, so that we can give them both hexproof. So I'm going to get the Sprite Dragon off the board here. It's going to be one of the most dangerous cards the opponent has, and it also blocks our creatures. Okay, here's a Swift Spear. And an Opt. Hoping they do not find land off the top. No, they put a card on top here, so they have a land. That's going to be good for a spell on their side. But I don't think I can play around anything at this point. So that's going to be 4, 5, 6, putting us to 6. I'm thinking about double blocking one of the creatures instead of bouncing. So we'll take 2 extra damage that way, but we'll get one of their creatures off the board. Oh, that's a 3/3 anyway. So yeah, we can block like this. And if they have nothing, this is good for us. And if they have anything, we were dead anyway. Lucky us. I wonder if we're going to be able to steal this game. We have Drogskol Captain into Glasspool Mimic here. That's quite strong. I'm wondering if I want to crack the Flooded Strand here. I can go get basic with it, so we can just leave it. Oh, the Firewalker. A little bit late. A little bit late, Firewalker. I think we still do play it, and then we can copy it. So we'll just attack for 4 here, I think. Leave the Supreme Phantom back, play the Firewalker, play a second Firewalker, and we can block the Stormwing Entity with the Supreme Phantom if we need to. Okay, and then we can put the other Firewalker or the Drogskol Captain into play at instant speed through Aether Vial. That does mean we potentially miss out on the life possible that we could have been getting through the casting of further spells. Here's a Kozilek's Return, which has Devoid. So that is going to take the Firewalker off the board, as well as the Hierarch. So no point in copying the Firewalker here. But we can put the Drogskol Captain into play, which is quite nice. Oh, yeah, that's right. With the Soulscar Mage in play, the Kozilek's Return was quite strong there. Maybe I should have copied the Skyclave Apparition to take the Soulscar Mage off the board. So we're going to be taking potentially 6 here if I want to keep my creatures alive. I could Glasspool Mimic, then I would have a 3/3 Skyclave Apparition. I could block the Soulscar Mage, take the Swift Spear off the board, and only take 4. Okay, let's see what we draw here. Another land. Okay. So if we want to play the Drogskol Captain and the Mimic, then we have to go down to 3. I just want to see if that would be lethal, because we'd be giving everything +2/+2. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe that's lethal. We're giving everything +2, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're good. They have no Lava Dart, so we're good to go. Phew. Okay, so we have a 2-land hand with Aether Vial. Quite a slow hand, but once it gets gassed up, we're good to go. I'm going to risk it and keep. We get untapped land off the top. We're doing pretty good. Okay, we got another Glasspool Mimic instead. Okay, Triome, so we're playing against some form of value deck. Could be a control deck. Oh, here's a Wrenn and 6. That's a problem with the Rattlechains for sure. Okay, we get another Aether Vial. So we'll play a Mimic, cast a Vial, and pass back. And we should be able to get the Drogskol Captain out before the Wrenn and 6 can kill the Rattlechains. But the opponent is going to be getting so much value from that Wrenn and 6 before that happens. We also have access to Apparition to take it off the board before they can get the emblem. But they're going to be drawing a card with it basically every turn. I am surprised they didn't use the Wrenn and 6 here to guaranteed put that Scalding Tarn into their hand, but they already had Flooded Strand, so that makes sense. Wow, that's a lot of value. Okay, untap land off the top, please. There it is. So, we have some options. We can Skyclave the Wrenn and 6, which I think is quite good. We could put a Drogskol Captain into play. I think the Skyclave Apparition is just going to be the best thing. Get rid of the Wrenn and 6 before they get more value off of it. And then we have the Rattlechains to protect the Apparition. And in subsequent turns, we can play Drogskol Captain, Glasspool Mimic on the Apparition. Oh, geez, I just realized we don't have double white. Yeah, thanks, old regime. Just realized that myself. We're missing the second white source. So in that case, we probably just play Drogskol Captain, pass. Hold up Rattlechains to save the Captain if they have some interaction. It was nice to have the untapped land come in there in the Botanical Sanctum, but it was the wrong one. We needed a fetch land, basic plains. Hallowed Fountain would have been fine. Horizon Canopy would have been fine. Okay, here's a Teferi. The Aether Vial still works when Teferi's in play. So I'm hoping they try and bounce our Drogskol Captain here. And this will fizzle the ability so they do not get to draw a card. Looks like they have an answer, though. Maybe a path to exile here? Yep. Go get the plains so we can play the Skyclave Apparition. Now, have they already used the Wrenn and 6 this turn? I think so. Okay, so that's the one bit of good news. We can use Rattlechains to kill the Teferi. And we get another spell off the top. Thank you, deck. So we have 3 and 2 and 4 mana. So we can put Drogskol Captain, Skyclave Apparition, and Supreme Phantom into play. I'm thinking Skyclave, the Wrenn and 6, Rattlechains, kill the Teferi, and then we can hold up Drogskol Captain as a trick. And if we don't want to put the Captain in, we can play the Mimic as another apparition, perhaps getting rid of an Uro. So we've still got a little bit of game left. Got both their planeswalkers off the board here. Pretty good swing. And we have access to a couple more spells. Okay, so they're going to go get the Path to Exile, put it back on top of their library. Nothing we can do, but that does mean that copying the Drogskol Captain will be very strong. They'll be drawing a dead card that way. Okay, here's another Wrenn and 6. If they try and kill Rattlechains, we can save it. We'll start by putting in Supreme Phantom. Okay, Growth Spiral. That will resolve. And Path to Exile. So we'll put in the Drogskol Captain. Pretty good turn. So let's see here. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have lethal. Okay, there we go. We got that one. Pretty lucky, I think. So we're playing against a control deck that uses Uro. I think Rest in Peace might be good. Remorseful Cleric seems quite strong. We could also bring in, I definitely want Unified Will, that's for sure. We could also bring Force of Negation. I do like Collected Company against the control matchup, but if we're bringing in more spells in Unified Will and Rest in Peace, I do want to take it out. Selfless Spirit is going to be very good against Anger of the Gods. So we want to keep that in. Skyclave Apparition is fantastic. Spell Queller is great. Drogskol Captain is amazing. Glasspool Mimic copies all those cards, so we want that. We could take out some number of Rattlechains, but again, like it plays those games with the opponent. So we got just over a minute here to decide how to finish sideboarding. Maybe I take out some number of Hierarch. The Wrenn and 6 is just such a good answer to Hierarch that maybe we don't even want to play any. Maybe we could take out the Hierarchs and bring in Force of Negation instead. Just because of Wrenn and 6. This hand is great. I love this hand. It's a little bit slow, but we have the Force of Negation to stop one of their Planeswalkers and double Drogskol Captain to close out the game. Remorseful Cleric off the top. Very nice. Don't have the mana to cast it currently, but Aether Vial will be able to get it onto the board. Another captain. Okay, cool. Could play Mimic here as a tap land. I think that's the best thing to do, so that we can get our Drogskol Captains going. It would be a little bit risky to put one out on turn 3 when we don't have the Aether Vial to back it up. Okay, we get another land. Wonderful. So I think I'm going to just hold up Force of Negation here, hardcast, and then end of turn, we'll put a Remorseful Cleric into play. Okay, they have huge amounts of mana here. Okay, they have the path for the Remorseful Cleric. So we'll just, I think we're going to go ahead and activate it. Get rid of their graveyard, get rid of those lands. We're pretty good for lands here. Okay, we get another land. So we'll play Breeding Pool tapped, put a Drogskol Captain into play, and go. They could have Counterspell though. We don't have a way to stop that. So I'm worried about Cryptic Command at this point. Any kind of counter magic, really. And if we put the Drogskol Captain into play now, we have the Force of Negation to back it up. Wonderful. That's pretty good. So we're still quite a ways from winning the game here, but getting a Drogskol Captain into play with Aether Vial untapped is pretty good. Okay, here's Uro. Okay, we're going to put another Drogskol Captain into play. We have Force of Negation backup. Another land, thank you, deck. And we're going to put the final Drogskol Captain into play. A little bit risky if they have a Sweeper. But this will be lethal next turn. So they need a Supreme Verdict here. Okay, they're putting Path to Exile back on top. That's fine. And they probably have Cryptic Command ready to go to tap our team. Find Mausoleum Wanderer on top. I'm going to try and counter this. Looks like they have the counter for my counter. They do. Unfortunately, we can't just throw the Mausoleum Wanderer onto the board here. At instant speed, that would have been nice, but now it's a better than a mana leak. I think we are in quite a bit of trouble, though. They can Cryptic Command bounce the Mystic Sanctuary. So they'd be basically Cryptic Commanding every turn. But we've got two of their Cryptics in the graveyard here. Okay, here's Uro. They're going to be able to draw a card. And they play a fetch land, so that gets them another Mystic Sanctuary, which gets them Cryptic Command. Oh, but they didn't get what they were looking for, so we win the match. Gotta say, I love these Glasspool Mimics. We're going to keep this hand. It's basically a 2-land hand. We have Aether Vial ready to go. And if we get untapped land in the next couple turns, we're doing pretty good. Would love an untapped land off the top so we can play Supreme Phantom and then cheat in Mausoleum Wanderer. What are we playing against? This will tell us a lot. Giant. Okay. And there's the Amulet of Vigor. Okay. So opponent's going to go fast. Untapped land. So we need to decide if we want to start with Supreme Phantom right now, or have the untapped land for Spell Queller next turn. I want to get Spell Queller ready to go as soon as possible. So we're going to play the Glasspool Mimic first, and then we'll have the Flooded Strand next turn. So we'll have access to 3 mana. We get to put the Mausoleum Wanderer into play through the Aether Vial. So we can do that in response to a spell if we want to counter something. Okay, here's Azusa. We can't counter that. We don't have the mana. This would be a very different game if we were on the play. Curious though, with the Azusa, I would have figured they would have returned the Simic Growth Chamber and then just bounced that a bunch of times, made a ton of mana. Okay, they have a second Karoo land. That makes sense. Okay. So we get to put the Wanderer into play. And we'll start attacking. Collected Company. That could be good. Let's see here. So we have Hallowed Fountain, and so we have double blue and only a single white. I think we probably want to get Temple Garden with a Flooded Strand. We'll just do that now. It might be a little bit of a tell, though, doing that. But I want to keep the Spell Queller up. So we'll attack with the Wanderer and then Vial in the Supreme Phantom. Okay, they'll take 3. Yeah, I should have just left the fetch land in play. It would not have been as much of a tell as getting Temple Garden untapped. What do they name with that? Like Dryad or something? Nymph. Okay, they're already casting the Giant. Nothing we can do about that. Unfortunate. Oh man, and they can give their creature haste as well. Yep. So we're in a ton of trouble here. I think we've basically lost this game at this point. Holding up the Spell Queller there was garbage. Should have put in the Drogskol Captain. We would at least have a better clock. As is, we're about to take 6, plus the opponent gets to put more lands into play, probably Field of the Dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, they just need Field of the Dead plus another card. Radiant Fountain makes sense. So they get 2 zombies. And our Spell Queller's garbage. Oh, and a Vesuva? Jeez. We can't do 19 damage with our 2 creatures here. Okay, we get Apparition. A little bit late on that. Would have been pretty good last turn to take care of the Amulet of Vigor, but it does not take care of a Titan. We could play the Drogskol Captain, and that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage, but then we die on the Crackback, so we're dead. Okay, so we're playing against Amulet Titan. Unified Will is only so-so. I don't think I want to bring it in. Oh, hey there, handsome. How's it going? Yeah, that's right. Just got the ability to give VIP status, and you're one of the people that has been around since the start. So, congratulations, you're VIP. So yeah, I think I'm going to bring in the Damping Sphere and the Path to Exile here. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything yet, but I'm quite close to getting affiliate, and once I get that, you'll be able to have some perks. So let's see here. I brought in the Dampening Sphere and Path to Exile, so I want to take out Collected Company. And then I have to decide 4 more cards to take out in this matchup. I'm leaning towards Selfless Spirit here. I don't think the opponent is going to have too many ways to interact with me. And I would rather keep the Rattlechains so that I can give my spirits flash. Although it might be better the other way. It might be better to take out the Rattlechains here, keep the Selfless Spirit in case they have like, what's the name? Engineered Explosives or something. Yeah, we'll keep the Selfless Spirits in. We'll take out Rattlechains. Because they might have Engineered Explosives. So we're 3-0 and we're down a game. This hand is okay. It's not great. Far from great. But we do have Horizon Canopy to redraw. And we have Hierarch to start. I'm going to keep it and hope we draw some good stuff off the top. Would really like to see Skyclave Apparition. Okay, Sakura Tribe Scout. So that's going to do a lot of work for the opponent. We find Glasspool Mimic. That will be able to copy Supreme Phantom so we can start getting in for some damage in the air. I think I want to play Selfless Spirit here, and I'll attack with Noble Hierarch. Of course, they have the amulet. So we're in quite a bit of trouble here. Another amulet? Oh no. And another land off the top for me. Okay, this is not good. We have access to 3/4 mana, so we cannot cast both things, but we can play the Canopy and draw a card with it. Attack for 4 in the air. Yeah, a little bit unlucky, and it was a speculative keep as well. Probably should have mulliganed it. I think that Skyclave Apparition is pretty important in this matchup in particular, being able to get their Amulet of Vigors. Oh, that's cool from the opponent. They copied my Horizon Canopy. Although the lands that they've been playing here tell me that they don't have many good lands in their deck right now, or in their hand. So it looks like they're struggling. If they do find Karoo land here, though, they're going to be able to go off. Okay, here's a Dryad. That is the plan, unless we draw something better. We're going to copy the Lord and swing in for more damage. Dryad here is a problem, but their lands here are pretty poor. So I want to draw a card with a Canopy, but then I'm going to be locked into playing only Glasspool Mimic and nothing else. Whereas if I draw a good card off the top here, I could potentially 2-spell. I think that just because my hand is so garbage, I want to draw a card. Find Mausoleum Wanderer, that's fine. And another Glasspool Mimic. Okay, this is good. So we aren't cut off of double spell anyway. Mausoleum Wanderer could potentially be a stumbling block. Exactly, not punished. So we're going to copy the Supreme Phantom, attack for a bunch of damage, play the Mausoleum Wanderer, and then pass the turn back. Play the Wanderer, and opponent needs to do something pretty big this turn. We have Lethal on board, and Selfless Spirit to protect our creatures. If we lose the Spirit, we don't quite have Lethal yet. No, we still do, with the Glasspool Mimic. Oh, it looks like the opponent... Yeah, okay, opponent just got the Gruul Turf. So they just let us know that they drew the card they were looking for. And this is going to give them an incredible amount of mana. So we got close, but the opponent managed to draw out of it. With the Dryad of Elysian Grove here, and double Amulet of Vigor, I'm pretty sure they can win with their Titan. They can go get the lands that will give the Titan haste, and then attack, and the Valakut triggers will kill us. Oh, I figured they would have given the dude haste. Maybe they have another way to do it. Or, you know, maybe they just put another Titan into play here. Probably a second Titan is what it is. If they packed for the Titan, we have Mausoleum Wanderer, counter for 3. So that'll drain the mana, so they can no longer cast the second Titan, and then we have them. Oh, no, they have a second Summoner's Pact. Okay, they got us. Also, good to see you again, Metnik. Yeah, and they have all the Valakut triggers there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 Valakut triggers. And they have the Battlements, which gives their creature haste. So that's GG. Alright, now this hand here, it's pretty tough. We don't have any 1 mana plays, but we do have 2 lands, and we can play Rattlechains into stuff. So this one here is pretty close. Pretty close. It has lots of gas for turns 3 and on, and we even have 2 cards that we can play. I'm leaning towards keeping this. Alright, we spent a minute contemplating this. Let's just go ahead and keep it. Okay, our opponent is mulliganing heavy. It could mean that they're on Tron. It could mean that they're unlucky. We play Glasspool Mimic to start. And pass. Okay, Temple Garden with that kind of mulliganing. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll have to see more cards to find out what they're playing. Okay, Spell Queller off the top. Come on, deck, we need some lands. Let's go. We'll pass here and Rattlechains, end of turn. Okay, so I'm going to go get a Temple Garden with the Flooded Strand here. And really, really hope we get an untapped land off the top so that we can hold up Spell Queller. Well, if they were bears, they would have played something. Land, 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 land. Come on, deck. No land. Punished. Okay. So I think that we just play Supreme Phantom go. I mean, attack, obviously. There's nothing else we can do. We might as well get the extra point of damage in. Yeah, it could have flashed it in on block step for the extra style points. Okay, opponent is stuck on lands as well. Thank you, opponent, for playing fair. And we miss on land again. All 3 drops in hand. Okay. No, I want to race. We're both at a pretty hefty disadvantage here. Walking Ballista for 1. Okay. Tap and then untap my lands. You got it, boss. Hierarch. Yay. That dies to Ballista. But we're still going to put it into play so that they would have to kill the Ballista. I'm thinking they probably have a second Ballista in hand to take the Rattlechains off the board. think it might have been slightly better to play Hierarch pre-combat there and then attack with Rattlechains to get the Exalted trigger. But I'm going to throw this Hierarch into the Ballista because I don't think they're going to kill it. I think they're going to cast a second Ballista and kill Rattlechains. No, that's a Scavenging Ooze instead. Okay, that's fine. We lose Hierarch, no problem. Because we're going to draw a land off the top of the deck right now. Okay, so what does Drogskol Captain do here? 4, 5, 6 puts them to 3. That seems pretty good, right? Yes, almost certainly this is the Heliod life gain combo, which also runs Devoted Druid Vizier. I could actually hold up Spell Queller here. I think that might be better. Hold up Spell Queller, and then Spell Quell end of turn, if they play a spell or not, and then Drogskol Captain for the win. Because Drogskol Captain does not make lethal here. So we're going to hold up Spell Queller. Exactly. We can end of turn flash in either the Queller or the Captain, depending on what they do. Rattlechains giving Spirits Flash is pretty strong. Exactly, yeah. Depending on what they do, we can just put in the Drogskol Captain. They want to attack, that's fine. We have a healthy life total, we don't care. GG. They could have Path to Exile here. No, they concede. Okay, so that was an awkward game. But we have a pretty clear idea of what they're doing. It is actually going to be difficult for us to interact with. We're going to want Path to Exile, which means we take out Collected Company. Force of Negation isn't going to be very good. Unified Will isn't either. The opponent is going to be playing a lot of creatures themselves. So I think we only bring in the 3 paths. All right, thanks for the follow, mate. So we need to take out 1 card. Their Walking Ballista is pretty good against us, huh? I think I take out Selfless Spirit. Yeah, they're not going to be running any sweepers. And Selfless Spirit isn't going to be able to protect us very well against Walking Ballista. So I think that's probably the 1 card to take out along with the Collected Companies. And I don't want anything else from the sideboard here. So we'll leave the last 2 Selfless Spirits in. Oof, that is a lot of lands. And none of these lands draw cards. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, 2 lands, Aether Vial. This hand's great. I think we probably ditch one of the Phantoms so we can keep Spell Queller. And then hopefully we can Spell Quell one of their combo pieces. Arbor Elf. Okay, so they have their ramping start. We have our 3rd land. Fantastic. Let's play Sanctum Aether Vial. And then next turn, Supreme Phantom Mausoleum Wanderer. Mausoleum Wanderer can counter their call. They have an instant that allows them to search their library for any creature. Oh, this is a good turn for them. They can make 4 mana. So they could just put a Walking Ballista out right now for X's 2. No, it's a Knight of Autumn instead, and that's going to kill the Aether Vial. Okay. Nothing we can do about that. And they have access to just infinite mana at this point. I mean, not literally, but figuratively, of course. So we'll play the second Sanctum here, play Supreme Phantom, and pass. So if they have Walking Ballista in hand. Oh, hey there. What's going on, John? Thanks for the luck. You caught us in time for match 5. We're up a game versus Heliod combo. Okay, they're attacking with the Knight of Autumn into Supreme Phantom. That is curious. What are they doing here? Like, I can't block this, right? Because they'll put down maybe like a Walking Ballista or something. This attack is definitely showing us that they have a thing. Yes, yes, he is. It's John Williams. All right, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, Heliod. Our Spell Queller is down, so that just has to resolve. Y'all like dogs. Who doesn't like dogs, though, right? I mean, letter carriers, I guess. Path to Exile. Okay, a little bit late on the path. So we can hold up Spell Queller, which I think is pretty important. Because if they put out a... Let's see here. Spell Queller can counter Walking Ballista, so that's what we want to be doing. We also have access to Path to Exile, which can do the same thing. So we could play Mausoleum Wanderer, hold up Path, but I think hold up Spell Queller is better. Mausoleum Wanderer might be fine. They play Walking Ballista. They activate Heliod. We Path the Walking Ballista. And this would give us a better clock. It's tricky. And then also Heliod can just give the Knight of Autumn lifelink, and we're losing the race that way. So we're in a really difficult situation here. Heliod messes with us quite a bit. We're going to need a Skyclave Apparition and another white mana. Okay, here comes that Walking Ballista. Are they going to cast it for 6? That would be the best thing. They should cast it for 6. There's a Gavany Township, so now they can just... Yeah, now we can't quell. Walking Ballista, X is 3. Unquellable. Okay, so they're untapping their land here so they can give the Walking Ballista lifelink. We're going to let that happen, and then we'll path the Walking Ballista. Almost. It's almost GG. But we have one answer in Path to Exile, kill the Walking Ballista, in response to them giving it lifelink. The problem is, the advantage of their board here, and they're able to kill Supreme Phantom anyway, means we're way, way, way behind. Really wish they had cast that Ballista for X's 4, or X's 2. That's true, they do have 0 cards in hand, but they have a superior board, and we just lose our Phantom here. If they get another Walking Ballista, we're toast. Cavern of Souls, okay. So with that, we can hold up Spell Queller and play Mausoleum Wanderer. Yeah. E-Witness, they definitely could. I don't know that they do, but because they're not playing Luris, they definitely could be playing Eternal Witness. I would definitely play one copy in this list myself. Yeah, the Township probably ends us in itself. If they just focus on that and giving the Knight of Autumn lifelink. Protection from black and red. Do we counter this? I mean, why not, right? I mean, what else are we going to do with our Spell Queller? And then the life gain from Auriok Champion plus Heliod would be pretty good. So this seems like a good counter. I think on all levels that was just the right move. We don't have a lot of choices. And I think probably the right move for the opponent here is just to get their Gavany Township online. They still have plenty of mana for the Arbor Elf here. Yep. I heard that card was banned. Oh, they're going for Collected Company instead. Let's hope they just hit Walking Ballistas. They whiffed on Collected Company, chat. They whiffed. They have no life gain, no Gavany Township. Let's start attacking. Very, very, very lucky. What do we draw off the top? Horizon Canopy for ourselves. Cool. Let's play Drogskol Captain. And then attack for damage. Let's go 6. We'll crack the Horizon Canopy end of the opponent's turn. Utopia Sprawl, so they get to redraw, I think? No, this just adds mana. Okay. Yes, I did board out Coco. Well, they should be able to do quite a bit of work here with the Knight of Autumn. They can give it lifelink. They could put counters on it. We do not want to trade our Drogskol Captain, that's for sure. So yeah, they can put +1/+1 counters on all their guys, and then give the Knight of Autumn lifelink. So we're going to take 4 here. They'll gain 4 up to 14. And we have 5, 6, 7 damage. So it's still close. Okay, I missed a point there. Land off the top. Yay. Another land off the top. Come on, deck. Alright, so how much damage do they have here? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they don't have lethal. Let's just go ahead and attack. We can't block their creatures because of Gavany Township. We'll play the Seachrome Coast and hope for a good card on our turn. Hope they whiff. But it's a lot of hoping on this game here. I think that if I were my opponent, I would just gain 6 life here. Yep, I like this attack from the opponent. And then I would give both these creatures lifelink. What are your outs? What can I tap deck? Well, first off, that depends on exactly how they want to go through with this. If they give them both lifelink here, they're going to go up to 12. So let's see here. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So even Drogskol Captain off the top, I don't think is going to get us through this. I don't think we do have an out. What if we get a, what's name? What if we get an apparition? We could apparate Night of Autumn and then start chumping. We could apparate the Heliod and start doing some blocking. We just get land off the top, so we're dead. Okay, I'm still quite satisfied with how the list is, so I think that we keep everything as is and try and get it on the play. Their killing our Aether Vial there on their turn 2 was very strong. Okay, so we have Hierarch, we have Drogskol Captain and Mimic, we have Spell Queller. This hand is great, we keep. So our big choice here is, do we hold up Spell Queller for turn 2, or do we go ahead and put a Drogskol Captain down right away? Arbor Elf means they could just have an obscene amount of mana ready to go next turn. So I might want to hold up Spell Queller here. Oh, Skyclave Apparition, that's cool. We could apparate the Arbor Elf. I like that a lot. Apparate the Arbor Elf, that means they just don't have access to a ton of mana. And then we have Glasspool Mimic to make another apparition. So I'm pretty satisfied with that apparition here. I think that's one of the best cards we could have drawn. Okay, so there's the Utopia Sprawl, ramping them. Do they have a 2-drop? They do. Oh, just an Arbor Elf. Okay. 2 Arbor Elves. So I think we probably apparate their Utopia Sprawl. to stifle their mana. Or we could hold up Spell Queller. I like stifling their mana, because they just have access to an enormous amount of mana with the Arbor Elves here. Whereas if we take that land, the Utopia Sprawl off the board, then they only have access to 4, maybe 5 mana total. Walking Ballista would still be pretty good, but they wouldn't be able to kill my board. That is another option. We could play Drogskol Captain and start attacking, but if we give them access to the Utopia Sprawl here, they'll have 2, 4, 6, 7, potentially 8 mana. That's just too much to let them have. Okay, we're going to attack with the Apparition first. It'll be attacking as a 3/3. No way they block this. And we're probably looking at Drogskol Captain next turn, so we can attack for 6. Okay, here's a Collected Company. They get a Ranger Captain of Eos, and that's it. And they get Walking Ballista into their hand. That's quite good. We have Spell Queller for it, though. We get another Spell Queller off the top. So I kind of want to hold up Spell Queller here. We might attack with one of the Apparitions, see if they want to trade. I don't mind giving them a 1/1 token. This doesn't have first strike, does it? Okay. The one thing the Apparition is really missing is flying. Pretty much everything else in the deck flies except for the 2 creatures I have on the board. But it would be too strong, honestly. Oh, the Auriok Champion. Okay. I think we Spell Quell that. And then if they put a Ballista on the board, it could only be a 1/1. Although we might have been baited. This could have been bait. Oh, Path to Exile. Okay. On the upside, we have access to both of our cards next turn. But they have Auriok Champion here, which is going to gain them life. We don't have to worry about the protection, but the life gain from their side is significant when they're playing Heliod. And this could be Walking Ballista here. So they might have turned the corner. Oh, really? They're going to sacrifice the Walking Ballista for our Hierarch? That is a shocker. Did not expect that. They have 1 card left in hand. I would have kept that Walking Ballista on board for sure. Rattlechains is a great draw here. So I'm thinking Drogskol Captain. Although spell quelling a Heliod would be quite strong. I could just Rattlechains later. Don't bother attacking. I want to hold up Spell Queller here. And we also can, if they don't cast anything, can Rattlechains Drogskol Captain. So yeah, Rattlechains was a fantastic draw. We are opening ourselves up to Collected Company, though. Yep, that makes sense. Crossing our fingers. They find the Heliod and a Mentor. Okay, that's really good on their side. Yep. It's pretty much the worst thing that could have happened. And deck, come on. We're going to go ahead and Spell Quell this so they don't gain the life from the Auriok Champion. They will still gain it once, but they won't gain it from the Knight. We do have quite a problem here with the Mentor and such, and they're going to be able to give a creature lifelink. So, as you probably know, it's extremely difficult to race when the opponent has lifelink. We're not going to block, but opponent's going to gain 5 here. Don't worry about it, man. Supreme Phantom off the top. Okay. So that gains them 1 life, and it does 4 damage. So that's... no, not 4, because the Skyclave can't attack. Damn. So that's going to be 4, 7, 11. And I don't think we quite die on the crackback. Flash at end of turn. I want to get the extra damage, though. Puts them to 7. We can block something with the Apparition if we have to. Oh, Spike Feeder. So we lose. GG. Okay, so we ended up 3-1 there. Had a very strong start and ended up stumbling. I wanted to be aggressive at the end of that final game with the... I wanted to be aggressive at the end of that game there with the Drogskol Captain. But I had even called it out. Like, I knew Collected Company was coming. So I should have just held up Spell Queller there.